The niche like line of a designer brand with numbers and sold in Harrods is done. It's officially over. It's on the down. It's no longer on our up list, and we are moving on from that. So can we all just stop with that? We're moving on. Okay.
Next week, press release will land in your inbox.
And I'll be like, oh my God, this is so novel and new. What is this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Except no 5.
No 5. Never a 5. You cannot do a 5 because you will get sued.
It's just not worth it.
It's
just
not worth it. Why
It's just not
would
worth
you?
risking it.
It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat with Thomas and Nick. We talk perfume and fragrance with humor and wit. From Chanel number 5 to Angel and more. We're covering the famous scents that you're looking for. It's time for some fragrances, it's time to start the show. It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat, here we go.
Thomas Dunkley, and sat opposite me is Nick Gilbert, who's not currently speaking because he's fucked up the intro 5 times, who is my co-host, and I am the other host of Fume Chat, the Perfume podcast.
Hooray!
Hooray!
I couldn't mess it up if I didn't say nothing.
I still feel like you could have.
There was a lot of options.
Yes. Hi, welcome, hello, howdy, how are you doing? That's a rhetorical question. We don't want to know. We are here Fume chatting again. It's Friday. If you're listening to it on launch day, if you're not listening to it on launch day, then I guess you don't like us that much, really.
Or you're busy. You know, it is released first thing at a work day. Some people can't get away with it at their desks, I guess.
Okay.
Don't have that. Not felt that emotion in a while, I'll be honest. But I'm sure it happens for some people.
Yes.
What are we going to talk about today?
So we had some suggestions following our Bergamot episode. I had a few people sliding into my DMs, not for like rude reasons, but because they wanted to have certain subjects discussed on the show. And one of those was Vetiver. They would like a Vetiver episode, like the Bergamot episode, but Vetiver.
Okay.
So like Bergamot to the Vetivering. I thought that was funny. I've been workshopping that for 2 weeks.
Well,
yeah. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
So yeah. So the idea of this episode, like the Bergamot episode, which if you haven't listened to already, you're listening to these in the wrong order.
Go backwards.
Go back. But don't go too far back because we haven't put season 1 up yet.
Eventually, at some point, we'll have to figure that out.
People do keep asking, and I'm like, yeah, we're looking into it. Yeah. So like
What
we
is
didn't.
it?
What is it? No. So like in our Bergamot episode, we did a bit about what is Bergamot, and then we said who is Bergamot, why is Bergamot, how is Bergamot,
Where?
Well, you went for where, I went for when.
Oh, well.
Wow. So different. So we did that, and then we sniffed some materials, and then we sniffed some scents. We have a lot.
Yeah, we do have quite a few fragrances because I think we love Vetiver, evidently.
Yeah.
But first, I guess we should talk about what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a plant.
It's a plant. So it's like a clumpy grass.
Yes, and it originated in India.
Yeah.
Where it's known as Kus, so Khus, and has been historically used like an attar in India, and also the like local communities would take the roots, so sort of stitch them together, create sort of like drapes, curtains for them to use in the summer months. They'll throw water on it so it helps cool down. It helps keep mozzies away, and it also kind of perfumes the home as well. So it's kind of like a really useful material.
Yeah. So it's also been used as medicine and as incense that was burned. So it's quite a versatile thing, and also used in flavorings as well, which is something I didn't realize.
Yeah, I think because it's so distinctive, you'd really notice if something was vetiver flavored.
Yeah, I mean, it would taste like vetiver, really.
Earth.
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then the vast majority of vetiver oil now is produced in Haiti, or at least the vetiver oil that's used for perfumery. You still have Java, you still have India that's growing, and some in kind of like Madagascar, Reunion Islands, but the significant majority comes from Haiti.
Yeah, and it's probably Haiti's biggest export, I would say.
Yes, apparently so.
Yeah.
It's like responsible for the jobs or livelihoods of about 30 to 40,000 people.
Wow.
And I think 90% of the world's vetiver comes from Haiti, which is quite a lot.
That's quite a lot. Yeah. So if you're smelling something vetiver-y, probably from Haiti, somewhere along the lines. So we've got two materials that we want to smell, because the thing about vetiver is that there are obviously different grades of vetiver and different, because obviously you can get it from different places. So you get different
terroirs.
Yes, exactly. But there are also kind of different elements of it that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
But you were saying earlier that there is no synthetic vetiver material. Is that right?
That's correct. So they've not yet found a synthesis route for anything that's present in vetiver, apart from nicotine, I think, which is more grapefruity than it is vetiver-y.
Okay.
So none of the kind of vetiver alcohols or anything like that come from a synthetic route.
Okay.
So there is a synthetic, in inverted commas, vetiver material called vetiver acetate. And there are some other materials as well. So yes, so there's no synthetic. It all starts from the oil. So what you would do is get the essential oil and then fraction that, so you get the vetiverol, which is the vetiver alcohols, and then put that through a process to get vetiver acetate,
Okay.
which is the synthetic, in inverted commas, vetiver note.
Yeah, and they obviously both amplify different facets of the raw material itself.
Yes, yeah.
So they'll be used for different reasons and in different products, different perfumes, different to create different effects.
Yeah, exactly that. So let's have a sniff of some vetiver Haiti. So this is vetiver oil from Haiti. It is diluted because the full wax stuff is pretty solid.
Yeah. I can
As
imagine.
in physically solid.
Yeah, like it's like
you need to warm it up for ages. So this is 10%.
So like when you smell this, it's really so earthy, rooty, salty. Like
I feel like it's like a savoury smell.
yeah, it's so
vetiver.
savory.
Because there's like salty, nutty, smoky earth. There is a kind of like green facet. There is a grapefruit facet, which is kind of why vetiver works so well in citrus context as well. But for me, it's really a savoury scent.
Completely. Yeah, it's massively savory because it has that salty character to it, I think, and also it makes you think of kind of aromatic herbs and things like that. But I think, you know, I don't know whether this is just being led by I know what vetiver is, but you do think of kind of like an arid landscape. It is like a dry shrubland that you get in your mind. And I don't know whether that's like the smell of the material or that working in
like a residual of the earth.
Yeah.
In the distill, in the
Because I know that it is
yeah.
like a dry grass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think most of the kind of rooty materials seem to have that aspect of them. So I don't know if that comes from the process or it's just associations or what it is.
Yeah, maybe.
But there's definitely a kind of like forest flory aspect and roots as in into the ground feeling about it as well, which is really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think smelling the raw material and smelling a vetiver fragrance, I think what most people would be surprised by is actually how luminous vetiver fragrances are, because they are normally pushed in the fresh direction, aren't they?
Well, it's because, like we mentioned, there's that citrus facet. There's a grapefruit aspect of vetiver. And so it's really easy to, well, not easy, but like it's really obvious decision to make to pull that up.
Yeah.
Because you really can get all of the brightness. I just think like vetiver and grapefruit together is so fabulous.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
like a really
what more do you need?
perfect combination.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, you just do it.
Just do it. Just do it. And so then we've got vetiver acetate to smell as well. So as I mentioned, this goes through a process. You get the vetiverol, which you can also get, but I don't have any here in front of me. So here's the vetiverol acetate, which to me has slightly more of the kind of nutty aspect. But you also get some of the grapefruit skin, pithy part. So it's kind of like an interesting faceted material.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're getting less of the earthiness, like the savoury quality, and you're getting more of that citrus facet.
Yeah.
And still some of the warmth in terms of the nuttiness.
Absolutely.
But there's a really easy way for you to go and smell this material is if you go and find Molecule 03 by Eccentric Molecules. They've used that in that fragrance. It's not really a fragrance, really, because it's just the one material.
Yeah, but it smells great.
It smells great.
Because it smells of this.
And I wear that all the time because it is like, if you like grapefruit and vetiver, that's like the ultimate. That's it.
Because it's basically what it is.
That's all it is. You're getting vetiver and grapefruit and it smells delicious.
So it's a lot more sort of like transparent than vetiver oil, which does have a density to it. And I think some of the other qualities, like the vetiver Java, is more smoky.
Yeah.
Than vetiver Haiti.
This feels much cleaner,
and
doesn't it?
This is more vetiver in a white shirt.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
this is like
starchy because it's starchy.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
a way
totally.
That I can't really. I don't know if I guess that is the explanation.
Yeah.
There's like a starchy aspect. It smells ironed.
it does smell ironed. That's such a like. Now you've said that, I totally see it. It is like steamy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the raw materials section, and now we've got like so many fragrances in front of us.
Yeah, there's like about 55
Yeah.
Vetivers. We said like, let's do Vetiver. And I was like, okay, I'll bring some Vetivers. And I realized I have like loads of them. And then we sort of spoke about which ones we wanted to talk about. And I think we both picked, there was a lot of overlap, but there was some where you were like, I want that one. And I was like, I want this one. And I just turned out to have every single one of them.
Yeah, it was kind of perfect. I didn't need to
No,
trace
once
everything
again,
up.
you didn't have to lift a finger.
No, I know. I there's a photo, I'm going to put it on my Instagram, of basically what it's like for me to turn up. Which is, Thomas has done everything and I just sit down.
yeah, I do all the work. But actually, Nick brings some wit
Something.
and knowledge and panache to the podcast. So I couldn't do it without him.
Yeah, once or twice a month that happens.
Yeah, when you have your original thoughts, yeah. So let's talk about some Vetiver fragrances then. And what we're going to do is we're going to run through this in order of from like kind of light to dark. So we're going to talk more fresh aspect, and then we're going to work up to the warmer end. And then we're going to end on something that is just a really beautiful Vetiver fragrance that just encompasses all of the
facets.
yeah, all the facets
aspects.
of the Vetiver.
Gorgeous.
Because, the thing is about Vetiver, it's like really versatile. Like, that's what Vetiver is. It's like, no, I'm joking, but it is like one of the most versatile materials. And I think when we look through this, all of these fragrances are, nearly all of them, I would say, immediately recognizable as Vetiver-centric perfumes, but they're all so different.
Yeah.
And I think it can be applied and treated in so many different ways. So we are starting where we have to start. In fact, if we didn't start here, I think we would be arrested. And this is with Guerlain's Vetiver, which is the reference Vetiver.
Yes. I mean, it's quite clearly a very well done Vetiver fragrance, which is crisp, classic, soapy, citrus, woody, earthy. It's got like all the parts you want it to have. It's got, I always think of it as a touch tobacco-y.
Yeah, it has got that facet, absolutely.
Like, I really, really love that part of it because it almost has that kind of tobacco pouch. I was going to say honey pouch. Tobacco pouch, honey-ish part underneath everything else that's going on.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous. It is so radiantly fresh. It is so like handsome. Like, it makes me think of someone who's very, very handsome that wears it, like myself. But it's just it is like very like open white shirt, clean, and also this was released in like what, late 50s.
Yeah, something like that.
It doesn't smell dated at all.
No,
it's so timeless.
Like, out of time.
It is
kind of thing. Because I think that kind of speaks to how Vetiver smells, though.
Yeah,
because it's not something that kind of feels of an era
No.
of any kind.
no, it's kind of just always been there since it was there. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not since the beginning of time, but in terms of perfumery, ever since Vetiver became a thing.
Yeah, I haven't worn this in God knows how long.
Yeah, I wear it quite regularly, I would say.
Yeah,
Similar.
there's a dent in that
No, it's
bottle.
a dent,
It's
and that's my
definitely
second
not your
bottle.
first one. Yeah,
No,
that's
because
the
I've got, this is the new bottle, which is kind of their standard like flask type bottle, but I've got the really cool sculptural
that was
one
such a
from
cool
like
bottle.
the noughties that I love.
That and I really liked the like everything about that was cool.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. And
Yeah.
I wear this quite a lot, and I think it's really, really beautiful.
But to me, this is like a green colour.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. It's like a very pale green.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't want to go into like specific colours because I can't think of any greens off the top of my head now. But it is like, it's a very like sort of pale, almost like white with shades of green in it. Like a, like a hue. Like a hue.
A hue of green.
And I think Vetiver's a really good one to talk about because, as in Vetiver the fragrance, I know we're talking about Vetiver the thing. Vetiver by Guerlain.
Yes.
Because this material is historically, I mean, probably less so now because of niche, but historically is a masculine ingredient. It's been used throughout. We've got probably more masculine fragrances in here than...
Yeah, I would say that. But then it's in like so many iconic female and inverted commas fragrances like Chanel No. 5 at quite a high dose and like Habanita, which is basically vanilla vetiver, which is fabulous.
That's gorgeous.
So it's kind of through the ebbs of time, I do think it has lent more towards the masculine side of the fragrance counter, I guess. But that being said, I think it's a very easy fragrance for women to adopt.
Yeah, I think these.
In fact, all of these.
A woman would smell amazing in this Guerlain.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. I don't want to move on to any others.
I just want to sit and smell the Guerlain. But we will, because we have so many to get through. And this is the Prada.
Yeah, so this is probably my most worn Vetiver. This is Infusion de Vetiver by Prada. And what I love about this is it
so good.
Does the fresh thing that the Guerlain does, but it has this really novel ginger note in the top, which works so perfectly with the Vetiver. And then it just goes all soapy, Prada Infusion E, which is kind of like they all have a signature. They all go a bit benzoin-y, kind of,
just
but very
nice,
transparent,
musky, transparent, clean, warm smell.
But this is probably I love it.
This is lovely, isn't it?
The ginger is just such a stroke of genius in this fragrance, I think.
I mean, ginger and vetiver work.
Yeah, so
evidently, like really well.
Yeah,
and I mean, this is the kind of fresh part of ginger, not any of the kind of rubbery part. No. So it's more like the ginger fresh, ginger blue style. Which is lovely. And I just really like it. It's really annoying because it's one of those things you just smell it and just go, oh, that's nice, isn't it?
It's so nice. So this is the second version of this they've released. They did a Vetiver ages ago before they launched all of them together. I don't know if it's the same. I can't remember trying that.
I think it smells the same.
Okay.
But don't hold me to it.
No.
But I remember they used to come in like really gorgeous patterned packaging.
Yeah, they did that. I think it was the Tuberose and the Vetiver came out at the same time.
Yeah. That was lovely.
Yeah, kudos to Prada. I think they have a really great range.
Sorry, I'm just going to sit.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with
Nick
this
is folding his arms. He looks annoyed at this fragrance for being so good.
I just love it.
It's really
very
good.
easy to wear.
Yeah.
And I have been like meaning to get myself a bottle of this as well. But then I wear the Infusion de Riz a lot.
Yeah,
so
there's a little bit of overlap. But I feel like this
there's
is
a lot of overlap.
Well, I think this is the most different in the line though. Because like the others I find like I do go, oh, okay, yeah, but this is like the almond I have is like, oh, it's almond for like 3 seconds. That's Infusion de Riz. Like this, I feel like it's the most.
I think the carnation maybe actually.
Oh, they do a carnation.
Yeah, ouye, which is a really hard word to say.
Ooh, yeah. I can barely say carnation. So
say ouye.
Ouye.
Just perfect.
So I think if you're looking for a kind of subversive vetiver that not everybody's wearing, I think this is a really great one because I think it flies under the radar a little bit.
Absolutely. I don't think it's one that people sort of like shout about a lot, but it's definitely the kind of thing that you would be very happy to just wear day in, day out.
Yeah, but no, if I meet you and you're wearing it, it's mine.
No possession, not possessive at all.
No.
Very relaxed, very chill.
But don't do it in my presence, please.
And then next up we have the Frederic Malle Vetiver Extraordinaire, which, I mean, the name says it all.
So this has got a very high dose of vetiver in it, I believe.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I can't remember what.
I can't remember
it.
Now. But when they released it, it was kind of the same with Carnal Flower and Portrait of a Lady. Right. They've made the big thing about it has the highest dose of the oil. Yeah, the title material.
Yeah, it's just cracking. Which is annoying again.
This is the most debonair, like suave, sophisticated vetiver. Like this is a vetiver like you would take home to your parents and they'd love it because he's so charming and he's so polite and engaging and handsome and rich. He's a complete arsehole when no one else is around. But he's like, you just can't quit him.
Nah.
It's so good. Also, I like how it shares a lot of facets with the actual material because you get some of the dirtiness, some of the earth.
I know that's what I like most about this fragrance is you get the earthy aspect that's kind of played into it. They lean into that earthy aspect instead of like it's not the earthiest of vetivers that you could smell or like the driest or whatever, but it's certainly leaning into that aspect really nicely. Yeah. And just this is going to be annoying again because we're just going to go, this just smells good.
Yeah. It does smell great, and it's got this like gorgeous spiciness to it.
Yeah,
and it's really clever because it takes the raw material, the earthiness, the kind of more dank elements of vetiver, but somehow makes them so classic, masculine, and like clean and sophisticated, and almost a little bit barbershoppy, but like.
There's definitely a sort of like slightly fougere aspect to it, like barbershoppy, and I think there's a sort of like more of a cedar character as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is definitely one of the aspects that vetiver oil has, but we didn't talk about. But it's there, and I just think God, that's nice.
Yeah, I always think of
So
it as
annoying.
I think of it as like designer stubble. It's like
Oh,
it's not like a
yeah.
freshly shaven face. It's like
No, it's
a
just
little
like
bit
kind
rugged.
of like annoyingly handsome.
Annoyingly
Parisian
handsome.
bloke.
Yeah. Ugh. Like when you look at someone and like, I don't fancy you, I just want to look like you. It's like, why do you look like that? And I'm like, I look like this. You know, it's like, why is that fair? It's
I mean,
not.
it's not, but
It's not. But let's not dwell on it. let's not dwell on your dysmorphia, Thomas. Let's not dwell on that.
not today.
What I do like about this is a sidebar about Frederic Malle.
Yeah.
But I think where they're very clever is when they expand their range, they look at the fragrance and what is the best product for that.
Yeah.
So they don't do, they do like an after sun, for example, which I think they only do in Carnal Flower.
Which makes sense.
Which makes sense, but they don't do it in every fragrance.
No.
And with this, out of all their masculines, they did a shaving range with this.
Oh,
so you've got a
perfect.
beautiful shaving cream and an aftershave like lotion.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just so perfect for that product. And
Yeah.
I think they're really clever because they are just quite conservative with how they expand things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was just a way for me to mention how great those two products are, to be honest. I'll be honest.
I mean, I've never tried them. I haven't
Oh.
shaved in years.
Well, that's the thing. I stopped wet shaving.
And then they sent it to you.
No, they sent it to me
Okay.
while I wet shaved. Well, during the period in my life in which I did wet shave, which is now in the past life, and I don't want to dwell on that either. But yeah, I just think that's great products. Like, should we move on?
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So next up is, which one is this? It's Sycomore.
Everyone loves Sycomore. Sycomore by Chanel from Les Exclusifs de Chanel.
I mean, I don't love Sycomore.
Do you not?
And I'm fine with it.
Okay.
But I'm just like, I'm not in love with it.
It's not my favorite, but I wanted to include it because it is such a reference point for so many people. This is the newer eau de parfum because I think when these originally launched, they were all eau de toilette.
Yeah, and,
and then
like different.
and then they changed them to eau de parfum, and everybody got upset. But I think actually, when they're charging as much as they are for them, they need to be a good perfume concentration. To be fair,
Well, yeah, but yeah.
Let's
That's
not dwell on that.
No.
Let's not dwell on that. Stop dwelling. This is warmer.
Yeah, it's
a
more
bit
ambery and nutty. Yeah.
What I think I like about this is it's just again it's kind of quite chic. Like
Yeah. I think that's probably why I'm a bit like, again, I think it goes too far into the chicness for me.
it softens a lot of the edges. I think.
Yeah. Because it's very buffed out.
Yeah, very buffed out. It's kind of this is Vetiver like in a photoshopping age. So like he's on the front of the magazine, but in real life he doesn't look like
don't
that.
look like that.
No, he's like it's a bit smoothed out. It is definitely more ambery actually. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting because we smelled so much vetiver.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I'm deleting the vetiver
Yeah.
from my nose.
you're like smelling this. There's no Vetiver in Sycamore. No, there is, but
It's really hilarious because I sat here going, it's not that much vetiver. What's the hard about? And then I'm actually like, no, it's there. I just need to like take a break. But yeah, the ambery facet for me is really rich. It's fine. I'm just not crazy about it. I do understand why people would be,
yeah.
but not for me.
I think out of all of the exclusives from Chanel, it's probably not one of my favorites. It's not one I
A
reach.
roundabout way of saying, I don't wear this one much.
Yeah, that's what it is. But it's not. It's not one I reach for.
No, I kind of prefer because to me, it also doesn't feel super Chanel.
I was just about to say that. Like, when I want to wear Chanel, I
Yeah.
want to wear Chanel. Like,
You want to just smell like a Chanel fragrance?
yeah, like I will wear.
Which is a very specific
Yeah,
style.
it is, like-
you can't really.
Yeah, my most worn Chanels, as I tell everyone on every episode of this podcast, are Boy, Number 5 Low,
Yeah.
1957.
Yeah.
which are the most Chanel of Chanel fragrances.
I think so.
This
Yeah.
doesn't feel like a Chanel fragrance. Not in a bad way, in the way that I don't know, like Gabrielle doesn't feel like a Chanel fragrance. Like
because it doesn't fit in.
no, but more just like, oh, okay, it's not got that Chanel sparkle.
Ness. Chanel-ness.
It's not gleaming or glistening when you wear
It's
them
not
in.
got that Chanel-ness.
Let's not dwell on Sycamore because we're
No.
like both like it's
I
fine.
it's there. It's vetiver, so it smells good, which is kind of like,
I suppose for balance we had to put one in that was near.
yeah. I mean, actually, like, what was I just thinking? I was just thinking about when I recognized vetiver for the first time in perfume. It was a real light bulb moment for me. I was working on the perfume counter at Boots, and I was smelling things, and it was the Paul Smith in the green bottle,
Yep.
Which is not
think
super
it's Man.
vetiver. Yeah, Paul Smith Man. It wasn't like super vetiver, but I was like looking at notes lists and going through all of that stuff and kind of like smelling all the things that said they had vetiver. And I remember like picking up that bottle, sniffing it, and then going, "Oh,
that's
what
it.
it is."
That's
and then like however many months, years later it was that I actually smelled vetiver oil for the first time. I was right.
And this is like part of my problem with how we talk about perfume, because when we say vetiver, like
you've not got the
because
oil.
we're not from India or Haiti or Java or places where it's naturally grown and has symbolism and cultural importance, what actually does that mean? And you're not going to encounter it in real life, are you? So even something as innocuous as just the name of the material, like vetiver, is a barrier for people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that we have to try really hard to help people imagine the smell. When you've not got it in front of you. But then if you can go out and smell some of these fragrances and sort of what is the common thread between them, that's how you start to notice. And then you can like build your vocabulary and your recognition of notes.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we do this, not just because we like talking about perfume, because actually we cannot stand each other outside of this podcast. We don't want to spend any time with each other, and we both hate perfume. I'm kidding. Is that you can then take away a kind of a list of fragrances to go and explore yourself. And then if you want to then engage with us and talk about them and what your thoughts are, then please do. So this is kind of your way of exploring vetiver through us, but then hopefully through you at the end. What's next?
For yourself. This is the Lalique, Encre Noir, so black ink. And this, I really remember stumbling across base notes and everyone shitting themselves.
Yeah, it was a cult favourite.
Like really,
they
were like, you have to own Encre Noir. It must be in your wardrobe.
If you don't own it, who are you, noob?
It really was. There was this like, you're not in the club until you've got Encre Noir, which I thought was really funny because I never bought it. But it really like sticks out as like a important fragrance in the fragrance community somehow.
Yeah, and smelling it, it's not as unusual as that you would expect it to be based on that, I think.
But so here's the thing. At the time, I think it was.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh yeah, that's a great vetiver.
Yeah. But this is a vetiver without any of that citrus facet, really. It's kind of much, well, I don't want to say dark because it's still quite transparent and light. It's got an airiness to it, but it's more of the rootiness of that material and a little bit of inkiness as well.
Yeah. So there is, for me, this kind of like smudged smell about it. Like it feels rooty, earthy. And it is, I guess it is dark, but then maybe we're making that association because the bottle's black and it's called Encre Noir and blah, 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 blah. But it definitely is on the darker scale when it gets to vetiver.
And it's got a very subtle, savoury facet to it, but it's not like massively warm.
No.
So whereas we go further into these, we do go a bit more savoury and then even like gourmand. Almost. This doesn't have like the warmth or the like the kind of depth to it. It's just a kind of, it's really hard to describe, but
there's also kind of like a slightly metallized element that I really see in this fragrance, which is kind of reflective, I guess. And there is a slight dankness.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. That dankness, that savouriness is, I think, just the sense of dried grass. I think that's what it is. It's like the like kind of arid.
Like, I see what you mean.
Like, because when grass is dried and goes that kind of that golden color, it then kind of becomes more straw-like. I don't know. It's just I'm finding it hard to put the words together, which is really shite because this is a podcast.
I mean, the audacity of coming onto a podcast and not being able to put
coming onto the podcast. This is my podcast.
Coming onto the podcast, says me who could not do the intro 5 times.
Yes, I know. You were a guest on this podcast. Thank you very much. Without me, this is nothing.
It sure isn't. It's just me sat here going, la, la, la.
It wouldn't be because you wouldn't set the equipment up.
No, I wouldn't. I mean...
You just have the audacity to walk over and go, is it ready yet?
Oh, are we ready? Where are we going? Terrible.
Yeah, this is a nice fragrance. I feel like if you... I'm just moving on. Pushing through. I think if you say, for example, you've tried Guerlain's Vetiver and you're not really into like the freshness, the juiciness of that, then this might be a good direction for you to go in because it's got that, I don't know, it's kind of got that depth and that darkness and that
richness.
Yeah.
Because it does feel more full.
Yeah.
As we go through these, they're starting to feel more full and rich.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And it's just fascinating how this shows a completely different side of that material because,
Yeah.
as I said earlier, Vetiver is like really versatile. So, you know, I think a lot of us will probably have our idea of Vetiver is Guerlain's Vetiver because
it's the reference.
Because it's the reference.
It'll be either that or the Frederic Malle, I think,
Yeah.
for a lot of people who are kind of like getting into it.
yeah, and they each
That's the
play up
starting point.
such different facets of that material.
I think that's what's great about this whole sort of selection, as it were.
Yeah, we did a really great job. We did.
Why be humble?
Why be humble?
So next up is
Nobody else in the perfume industry is, so why would we be?
next up is Timbuktu, which is for me one of the most bitter vetivers and smoky ones out there. So it's named for Timbuktu, the place, and so it's kind of playing with that aspect that you mentioned of Vetiver having this kind of like arid quality.
Yeah.
So it wants to capture some of that landscape. But then it's also part of the Wusalam ritual, which is where Malian women will burn vetiver roots and use the and flowers and things like that. Burn that and use the smoke to perfume their hair and themselves. So it is, of course, a smoky scent.
But it's cold smoke.
Yeah.
It's not hot smoke. It's not like leather smoke. It's not.
No. And then it's vegetal and green.
So vegetal. Like almost. I think most people would be surprised that this is Vetiver when you smell it.
I mean,
because it's not the first thing that comes into your mind, having experienced all the other fragrances in this lineup. But it does have that. It's like the vegetal, the root aspect. It's not the spice, not the savouriness. It's not the citrus. It's kind of a very specific, small element.
Sort of like slice.
Yeah.
Like very, like you've taken a segment of it and that's the only bit you want.
I think this is one of the greatest perfumes ever made.
I think it's pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. What I think is really cool actually is about this green part is this kind of like mango skin, slightly sulfuric aspect in there, which brightens it and lifts it a little bit because otherwise it would just feel too impenetrable.
Yeah, because it has that quality of smoke in the sense that it is quite diffusive.
Full. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's spacious, I think. It's a spacious fragrance.
Well, I mean, this is by Bertrand Duchefort, and I think his best fragrances feel the most atmospheric.
Yeah.
And this is up there in his best fragrances, probably his best ever fragrance he's created. Like, let's be real.
It's pretty good.
It's such a great perfume.
And this is, I don't know if we said the brand actually, but it's L'Artisan Parfumeur.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Timbuktu.
It's L'Artisan.
Yeah, it's L'Artisan.
And I just think it's sort of magnificent and irritatingly magnificent.
Yeah.
If you look at it in a kind of, I wish I'd had something to do with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's so enjoyable, and it's one of those fragrances that I think took a long time to click with me.
Yeah.
The first time I smelled it, I was like, I don't really get like the vetiver element of it. I also don't know if I enjoy it because it is quite bitter, and it's also very alien and unusual. It's not
familiar.
No, but it's such a beautiful fragrance to wear. It kind of just fills so much space, but in such a light way. And I think that's what Luca Turin actually might have said in his review, that it has this wonderful quality to be a dense fragrance, but that's so
full of light
and space. And I don't know, I don't want to put words in Luca Turin's mouth, but I remember something like vaguely along those lines in his review. It could, maybe it was someone else.
Do you want us to look it up?
No, I think that would take too much time. You can all just comment on how wrong I am in the comments. Thank you very much. Timbuktu is great. Fascinating again, sidebar about body products, because this is one of their best-selling fragrances, which in itself is quite strange because it's so weird. They do a load of body products for it, which is just like bonkers. I don't know if I'd want to shower in Timbuktu.
I mean, I've not actually ever tried that. Can you believe? Like working there, even I didn't try the shower gel. It's stupid, but
I don't know what that would be like.
I'm curious, but not enough to pay for it.
Hi, L'Artisan. I hope you're listening. We're now moving into our, what I want to call the warm section of Vetiver. We've been out in the sun all day. We've been having the lovely citrus revive us. And now we're going back inside for some warmth and coziness. Some hugger, you know?
Oh my God.
So we're moving now into kind of, there's two Vetivers we want to talk about that show the warmer aspects of Vetiver.
Yeah.
So
We said Vetiver.
I don't know. I don't really
like
want
a counter.
I know I'm going to get so sick listening back to this. So yes, the next one is from Anima Vinci, which is actually a really cool brand. They've got some fantastic fragrances, like really top-notch, fascinating, innovative fragrances.
Rose.
That rose is just like chef's
Oh,
kiss.
it's so good.
And then they've got the one with the piri piri root in it, which is Wood of Life, which is really unusual.
I love Wood of Life.
And the brand's all about kind of, you know, yoga and wellness
and the
and
good, like, state of mind.
stuff
and all
that's good for you
stuff.
that we actively avoid. So Sesame Chan is a very unusual take on Vetiver.
Yes. So for me, it's like was pulling on the toasted nutty aspect, right? So I think they say it's cashew and hazelnut and sesame.
Yeah.
And for sure I get some of that. But what I really get is this kind of like ginger and anise thing that's really happening in the fragrance. And so that's pulling a lot of kind of like brightness. And then the savory nutty parts that are all around it are really warm and kind of, there's almost a toasted rice kind of.
Yeah.
Warm.
Toasted is a really good word to describe it.
Yeah. It's very lovely.
It has like, because like if you describe that to me, that would be my idea of like hell, like toasted, like super savory. But it does, like you say, have this like ginger, like citrus aspect to it that makes it much more palatable, much lighter. And I would say out all the ones we smelled, this is probably the least instantly recognizable as a vetiver, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But
Vetiver's the supporting act in this.
it's what's pushing the nuttiness
Yeah.
to me. And like the nutty sort of like peanut skin, slightly hazelnut vibe that you get with vetiver, I think is a really cool aspect of it. So it's really nice to see it kind of like pulled in this direction.
Yeah.
And I think the kind of like toasted, creamy part is really cool.
Yeah, this is really unusual.
Yeah. I haven't worn this much, but I do like smelling it.
Yeah, I think it's
Which is a weird thing to say.
Savory is not my go-to for wearing.
Yeah.
But I do have to admit that I do like to kind of smell this because I think it's quite an interesting thought exercise. But I imagine if you like nuttiness in perfume, I mean, we talked about Bois-Farine in our last episode and we both went nuts for it, but that's a different kind of nut. Different. It's a little bit, it's powdery, it's light, it's delicate. You know, this is actually quite an enveloping perfume. It's like you'd wear this autumn, winter. You wouldn't wear this summer.
But it still has the kind of like brightness.
Yeah, it's got brightness. It's got brightness, Nick.
It's got brightness.
There's even brightness in winter. The sun shines occasionally. Jeez.
I mean, I gloomth. That's all I see in the wintertime. The gloom.
So we even move now to even more nutty, even more gourmand. And this is the Hermes Vetiver Tonka, which is from the Hermescence line. And Jean-Claude Eleanor, when he was creating this fragrance, I think was inspired by wool.
Wool?
So it was very it's inspired by wool. So it's very textural, I think, in terms of the fragrance. And this kind of takes almost like the Sesame Chan. I mean, it came out before Sesame Chan, but it's like one step beyond for me because whereas Sesame Chan is nutty and creamy, it's still got the savory element. This goes much sweeter.
Yeah. Because you get the kind of, again, like warm cooked thing, but of kind of like the almond tonka part. Yeah. Which is lovely.
Oh, it's
This is very hard to say anything about because I just want to smell it.
I know, it's so lovely. And it's got, what I really love about this fragrance is you've got all the gourmand stuff going on. There's some tonka, there's some vetiver. It lives up to the name. You don't need to panic. But what I really enjoy is the soapiness of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think for you and me, soapy is like a really great thing.
I mean, do you remember there was that Paco Rabanne one that came out that smelled like basically like fabric softener?
And we were just like, great,
this is soap suds. I love it. It's the most genius fragrance ever.
Yeah.
And it's because we just like soap. We just like soap. All we want is for you to wash, and that's it. Really, we don't ask for much. Just wash with soap that we pick for you.
Soap, lovely soap.
But it's just, it's fascinating in the sense that you've got this like nutty vetiver, this like creamy tonka vibe, and then this fresh soap thing.
Yeah.
And it all works.
Yeah, and just kind of like, well, that's a nice melange.
Yeah. And again, it's like Jean-Claude Eleanor being versatile perfumer, as we said in the last episode. Well, I think I said, and you were like, yeah, well, duh. But this is like so much kind of richer than so many of the other Hermes fragrances.
I think there is a density, but again, it's still translucent.
Oh, completely.
And fresh. So you don't really feel, you would never feel like weighed down in this. It's very light still, but there is a fullness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
My perception of it. It is really good. Problem is, picked really lovely fragrances entirely, apart from Sycomore, which I could take or leave, to be really honest. Although I know a lot of people love it.
I think I think what the problem is, not the problem with Sycomore, but the thing about Sycomore is it doesn't give me anything that I can't get in other Vetivers, and it doesn't excite me. It's just a really good Vetiver.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like I suppose we did kind of smell it at the midpoint. It's like the midpoint between
Vetiver,
Guerlain Vetiver, and then Vetiver Tonka, because it's kind of like it's a little bit warm. It's a Vetiver if you can't make your mind up. If you can't decide which camp you're in, then you can go for Switzerland here in the middle, and then that's your
you'll be fine.
That's your Sycamore. There you go. So
that makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
Fair.
Yeah.
No,
people are unsubscribing while we talk.
Just going like, what are they
talking about? Sycamore's a genius fragrance. Get out of here. We shall not. We shall not. I really love this, and I don't really reach for it until like the winter, autumn.
Yeah, no, I can totally see it working like autumnal.
But you rock a nice fall. Yeah, it's very fall. It's very October. Yeah. Like if you
just like going pumpkin shopping and like.
So I had like this vision of
whatever that is.
Do you remember like a few months ago, like not a few months ago, a few years ago, my brain like.
What is time?
What's time? This is the problem about having an ADHD brain. It's like just words tumble out of your mouth and they don't make any sense. So a few years ago, man capes were really in. So like men would wear like...
I believe I saw them on like fashiony things and I thought that's not practical.
No.
As much as I personally love the idea of wandering around in a cape on a cliff top, running around for a Scottish Widows advert, I'm not necessarily thinking about the pragmatic considerations of wearing
This is the thing. This is what I hate about life. Is like, amongst the many other things, it's like you see something like these guys on these adverts. They're wearing their man cape. They're like, say they're at Fashion Week. They're wearing their man capes. They've got like a big brimmed hat. The fancy bag. They look great, and I'm like, all I want is to look like that and wear that cape and wear so much Vetiver Tonka that people know I'm coming. But I would just literally look like someone had put a throw over a really like knobbly old sofa that no one wants to sit on.
Just a discarded poncho.
It's like, oh, just put that throw down for the dog. That's what I'd look like. But I want to look like, I don't know, bloody someone famous wearing a cape.
Influencer Jones.
Yeah, I want to be Influencer Jones wearing their bloody man cape with their Dior saddlebag. That's all I want. And I want to wear Vetiver Tonka, but it's just really miserable.
It's not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. But that's like this very vibe. It's like it feels to me quite.
It's like what's the color called? Camel.
Yeah.
It has a very sort of like camel coat vibe, doesn't it?
And maybe I'm associating it with like luxury high fashion because it has that soapiness.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
Soapiness is like, to me, Chanel. So it's like luxury high fashion. I just think it's cool. I like this fragrance.
Yeah. It's too cool for me.
It is, yeah. Don't spray any on.
I won't, don't worry about it.
How dare you.
I put Timbuktu on.
Oh, that's more you.
That's more...
I love Timbuktu, I really do.
Well, that's more your speed. So then we have the Elie Saab. Elie Saab?
I think it's Elie Saab.
Okay. Essence Vetiver.
Yeah, so Elie Saab is the Lebanese fashion designer, I believe. And he released a collection of essences. I think all of them were done by Francis Kurkdjian.
Yeah.
They were all numbered. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, because you can't call anything number 5. How dare you?
But this is number 6.
This is number 6. I think they're all discontinued, and we don't like to bring discontinued fragrances to the table very often because it's infuriating if we go, this is beautiful, you need to have it, good luck finding it. But you can
eBay.
You can still find these around.
Okay.
And the reason I picked this is because I think it's just it's like the perfect vetiver. It encapsulates everything we've talked about. It's got freshness, it's got warmth, it's got nuttiness, it's got a little bit of darkness and earth to it. It's just, and a little bit barbershoppy. It's just so glorious.
Yeah. It's really bloody good, isn't
it's so good. This is Essence number 6 Vetiver.
Okay. This bottle might not be going home with Thomas.
It absolutely is. That was £50 off All Beauty.
Oh, well, I'll get it there. That's
Yes.
fans.
Not sponsored, but just if you want it, that's how I found
Hashtag
it.
spawn.
Hashtag spawn, hashtag gifted, hashtag loving life, hashtag blessed. I can't say hashtag.
Hashtag. Yeah. No. So cool. It has the gingery aspect.
Yes.
And then
But it's grassy. Do you not think it's grassy?
yeah,
Nick?
no, that was what I was just coming
Yeah,
back
it's
to.
the
I was like,
grassiness.
this is bloody green.
It's bloody
Nice
grassy.
Everest green. There's like a real. It feels more like it's trying to portray the entire plant.
Yeah, I feel like
It's the grass as much as it is the roots, whereas a lot of the other ones are more around the roots kind of direction.
Because that's the fragrant part, right?
yeah.
That's like
that's the part that you distill.
Yeah.
That's the part you use.
yeah.
Whereas this feels like it's trying to like incorporate a green grass. It's trying very hard to not green grass.
Green grass, yeah. It's very like grass stains on your white trousers. That's how I see it. It's just kind of like,
playing cricket.
playing cricket, yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
I don't know why that's
That's
so
a
funny
thing
to me.
both of us have done.
I mean, at school,
Yeah.
I remember, cricket story, when we went to watch our dad playing cricket. And I don't remember if it was him necessarily or it was someone. And they hit the cricket ball into the crowd and it just went cracked straight into his mum's lap. And I was like, oh my God.
Ow.
Like,
Was she okay?
She was sat down with a book, reading on her deck chair.
And it hit the book.
It hit the book and landed in her lap, yeah.
Oh, thank God it hit the book.
I know, can you imagine?
People have been killed by cricket balls.
I don't doubt it. They are pretty hard.
Yeah. I think really this is a call out to the cricket industry to stop
Soften
being
your
so
balls.
soften your balls, stop being so reckless. Do you know how rude it is to throw balls at people's faces?
We'll pay good money for that.
They do. They really do. You can't just do it for free. Know your worth, cricket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So yeah. Anyway, so yes.
Back
no.
to Elie Saab Essence number 6, Vetiver.
Yes, which is really lovely.
It's really lovely. I remember bringing this to the lab to show Pia.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, Pia, I've brought this Vetiver in because I quite like it. And I think Pia started dribbling at one point
Yeah.
because she was like, this is so good.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good. There's a nice pepperiness. The kind of like sparkly, lemony part of black pepper. The ginger. The grassy part, especially on skin. That comes out really nicely. And then, yeah, it's got the kind of like smoke, nut, earth, wood aspects. All of them there.
And a little bit of that kind of, I think the thing that I characterize Vetiver as in my mind because of the Guerlain, which is the clean white shirt, a little bit sexy, rugged.
I feel like this is a really salesy thing to say.
I'll go for it. But do it in a sales voice, please.
It really takes you from like day to night.
Are you glad I made you say it in the sales voice? Because I think that gave it that added impact. It
It's
does.
the kind of thing where you could just quite easily wear Vetiver fragrance like this or like Guerlain Vetiver anytime with whatever you wear and it would never feel inappropriate.
Yeah, again, like I said earlier, Vetiver is like really versatile. Because you could wear this with casual clothing, this Elie Saab, right? This
Are
is
we
like,
going to call this versatile Vetiver?
I think we're going to call it Vetiver is like, really versatile. I think that's going to be the title of this episode. So much so that I've already typed that in on the thing. It is just, you could wear it with casual clothing, you could wear it with a smart shirt and it wouldn't feel out of place.
Yeah, no, and this is really nice. Really nice.
I know. You're pulling that angry face again.
How dare he?
Seconds after we finished recording, Nick wrestled the bottle out of my hand, took it for himself and said, I'm never doing this
It
again.
smells good.
Yeah. This whole collection,
Yeah.
really good. It kind of is disappointing that I don't want to say they didn't sell, but I don't think they are.
if they're discontinued, they probably shouldn't perform very well.
And I think it's because maybe they are just,
they look a bit. They look a bit.
Yeah, I think it's also Elie Saab isn't a brand people think for fragrance, even though all their fragrances are good.
I mean, Le Parfum is stunning.
It's stunning, but like most people probably don't go there.
No.
And also another numbered collection of fragrances in a niche environment is just kind of a bit of a tired trope, I think.
Was it done?
Was it done? It's done.
Oh, it's done.
I would just like to announce on this episode of Fume Chat that the niche line of a designer brand with numbers and sold in Harrods is done. It's officially over. It's on the down. It's no longer on our up list, and we are moving on from that. So can we all just stop with that. We're moving on. Okay.
Next week, press release will land in your inbox.
And they'll be like, oh my God, this is so novel and new. What is this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Except no 5.
No 5. Never a 5. You cannot do a 5 because you will get sued.
It's just not worth it.
It's not
just
worth it. Why
It's
would
just not
you?
worth risking it.
Why would you? It's like going, oh, I've got my new fragrance coming out. I'm calling it Shalimar. It's like, it's not going to
It's
happen.
been done.
It's just a bit, it's done. It's down. It's off the list.
Can't have it. You can't have it. But
I think just for the purposes of the viewers, readers.
Viewers, readers, listeners.
No, we don't have any listeners. They're mainly viewers and readers. Just to run through what we smelled.
Yes.
Just like a summary.
Okay.
So maybe you could take the first 4 and then I'll
Okay.
take the last ones from the Encre onwards.
From Encre
Onwards. Just a little
Encre.
summary of what the name was.
Yeah.
What we liked about it. Like what kind of vetiver it is.
Okay, so
Go,
we've
Nick.
got the Guerlain Vetiver as the first thing we sniffed, which has that really sort of like classic, fresh, soapy, grapefruity aspect played up, and then a nice tobacco-y warmth underneath.
Yes.
Very classic, very easygoing, timeless.
And also, can I just say, ageless.
Ageless.
Yeah, teenage boy, 70-year-old man would work. It would work on all of them. My dad wears vetiver. I wear vetiver. My
Yeah.
son wears vetiver. My
He did gesture to the pug. I,
did.
would like to add, he's not had a child.
I did. I have a pug. Yes, but
Yeah.
it's just it's timeless. It's ageless.
Yeah.
It's genderless.
Anything. It doesn't have
It's
it.
anything.
It doesn't have anything.
It defies categorization.
Apart from it's a vetiver. Then we have the Infusion de Vetiver from Prada, which has that great sort of like soapy, gingery top note.
So here for
It's
that.
so fabulous.
Yeah.
Vetiver Extraordinaire from Frederic Malle, which is like all the vetiver, I guess.
Yeah,
It's all the vetiver.
I feel like it feels like the closest one to just the smell of vetiver.
yeah, I think
but
so.
like
But that's probably because it's so highly
because it's
dosed in the
basically
fragrance.
but like smartened up and like given a nice kind of you know,
Yeah.
it's dressed up nicely.
Give it a bit of zhuzh.
Yeah, given a zhuzh. We love a zhuzh.
Love a
Yeah,
zhuzh.
Get your zhuzh.
We'll speak about how to spell zhuzh. Anyway. So,
That will be the next hour of the podcast.
and then Sycomore by Chanel, which I take or leave.
So I
Which
think
is more ambery warm.
I think we agreed that Sycamore was the midpoint.
Yeah.
And it was the, if I don't know which kind of vetiver to go for, I don't know if I like fresh, I
Yeah.
don't know if I like nutty, kind of like, it's your fail safe, I think.
Just, it'll work.
It'll work. It's good.
It'll work.
It's good.
Yeah. And then you said you're going to take it from here,
Yeah.
which I'm going to interject as and when I feel
Okay,
like you
like
did.
I just did. Okay, yeah. So next we have the Encre Noir
Mm-hmm.
from Lalique, which is the cult favorite of perfume lovers. It is the secret passcode into the perfume club. And this is a much more earthy, dark, metallic, inky, savory, salty,
Yeah.
but still quite airy vetiver.
Yeah, it's still transparent.
We should have done KenzoAir.
Is there some in the cupboard?
Yeah, should we do a bonus one at the end for
Hang on.
KenzoAir? Let me get to the end and then we'll do KenzoAir. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Then we had Timbuktu, which is a really fascinating, unusual vetiver. This is from L'Artisan Parfumeur.
Yeah.
This is a rooty, vegetal, smoky but cold smoke
Yeah.
vetiver that is just so spacious and
Atmospheric.
atmospheric.
And it's got a density to it, but it doesn't overwhelm. And I put some back on, and
Yeah.
it's just. I was complaining to you separately about French Lover being too bitter.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think this is bitter, but this is like my tolerance level.
Yeah.
This is as far as
Okay.
I can go.
That's the problem with all French lovers I've had in the past. They do turn quite bitter. They never take a breakup well.
No. Fair.
Then we had Sesame Chan from Anima Vinci, which has the nutty side played up. It's got like a creaminess to it, but it also still has like a levity. It has a citrus facet, a ginger facet, and it's just a really, really unique vetiver that has those nutty things played up. If you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
nuttiness, that's the one for you.
Yeah, peanut, toasted, sesame,
Yeah.
cashew, hazelnut, all of that kind of
Kind
stuff.
of a
And then
rice
there's like
vibe.
kind of a ricey vibe. And then that like anisey aspect, which is lifting it up.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Love it.
Then we had Vetiver Tonka from Hermes, which is part of the Essence collection, which is kind of their like high-end luxury collection.
Oh,
we
super
won't
posh bit.
we won't dwell on what we think about high-end collections. We love them. Which is a really kind of gourmand, it's almost I would say sweet, but like it's more caramelized vetiver.
Yeah.
That has like this beautiful soapiness to it that
Mm-hmm.
is so luxurious, and makes me wish I was better looking than I am. And then we ended on Essence number 6, Vetiver from Francis Ketchon, which I think, not Francis Ketchon. Well, it was Francis Ketchon. Elie Saab, but the perfumer was Francis Ketchon. I'm just giving him the credit. He deserves it. Good old Captain Kirk. Which I think is kind of like the perfect vetiver. If you want a vetiver that smells like every aspect that is just really bloody good.
Yeah, it's great because you've got the ginger, you've got the peppery side, you've got the greenness, the kind of slight
grassiness.
citrusy. Oh, the grass.
Oh, the grassiness.
Oh, I do love a bit of grass. And then calm down. And then
not that kind of podcast.
The earthy and kind of woody, nutty. It's got all of those parts.
Yes,
like it, but they're all kind of like perfectly balanced, which is annoying but nice.
And even like not just from a perspective of the facets of vetiver, also like the genres, because it also has that kind of like that sophisticated barbershop vibe, which we see in like the Guerlain and others. It's just really good, man.
Annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
should we do a bonus vetiver?
Shall we?
Because I know people love KenzoAir, and we have a tiny bottle.
Which drawer is it in?
It's
that one.
in the men's one, which I think is the next one.
Where it is? Oh yes, it's my little travel bottle.
It's your little travel bottle that I try not to steal every time I come here.
It's so
because there's not much in there, I don't think.
No, it was 20 mil to start with, and it was like a little pebble, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And Kenzo's died recently.
Yes, he died
Kenzo.
like a week ago.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is sad. He was a visionary.
He was. Fragrance wise,
this is like the most lightweight vetiver ever.
Yeah,
But also, it's like all of the richness and the color is like pulled out of it.
yeah. Right. So here is where they play with the licorice aspect of vetiver really interestingly because it's pulled out. It's got this really nice anise, licorice, slightly sweet character. But it literally just helps make it more airy and fresh and bright. It doesn't feel dense. It doesn't feel sweet and sticky like licorice can. It's just a bit of a marvel, I think, actually.
Yeah, and it's got this beautiful like salted skin vibe, I think. That's what I like about it.
Very, very transparent and airy is exactly.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense for the name.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
It was a shame it was discontinued.
Yeah, it just didn't work.
And this one is really expensive if you try and find it anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Good luck.
But I think it's the best out of all of them. Good luck. No. That's your bonus vetiver. We're not going to dwell on this, but we brought that out because we had it in the cupboard and we should talk about it.
Should have talked about it.
Well, we did.
We did.
We just did it as a bonus.
Just did it as a bonus.
We just did it as a bonus. I'll be able to edit that. That's fine.
Cool. Well, that's been a journey.
That has been a journey. I mean, we've been here for 12 hours. Talking about vetiver. If you're still listening, thanks for joining us. This is like Eurovision when they call out the like do the results, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and they're just like, please get on with it.
Yeah.
Random TV presenter in
And
Tallinn that you have never heard of before.
And they want to come and sing their song that they entered in 1984.
Yeah.
People listening to this now are like, oh my God, they're doing a Eurovision tangent. I just cannot. I promise you we're going to stop now. We're going to end the podcast. This has been Vetiver is like really versatile. It's a great episode. We enjoyed it.
If I do say so myself.
just talking crap. So yeah, we really do like Vetiver. I think that is clear.
Yeah, and again, if you want us to do more of these things around a note or a material, let us know. I would enjoy the opportunity.
Yeah.
Let's say. Or what, but to give you what you want.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting to see what people
Want. And they'll say, not 25 fetivers, please.
No, we're going to give you 25 violets instead.
Oh, God, no. We'll be completely anosmic.
I think we'll just smell insolence and then die. Okay, thank you very much for joining. You can Fume Chat us at Fume Chat, wherever you find Fume Chat.
At Fume Chat.
Just at Fume Chat.
on the internet.
Candy Perfume Boy, Nick R. Gilbert. Goodbye. Oh,
Bye.
Also, you can follow my pug at the Candy Perfume Pug on Instagram. Just show him some love because he's only got 80 followers.
Does he?
Yeah, I feel like, right, I've seen some dog accounts with dogs that are nowhere near as cute as mine and they've got like 30,000 followers. I'm like, excuse me, I have the cutest pug ever.
I mean, he's really cute right now because he's asleep.
He's proper asleep.
And it's adorable.
You Bugsley.
Oh.
Anyway,
follow Pugsley.
Goodbye.
Bye.
It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat with Thomas and Nick. We talk perfume and fragrance with humor and wit. From Chanel number 5 to Angel and more. We're covering the famous scents that you're looking for. It's time for some fragrances, it's time to start the show. It's Fume Chat, yeah, Fume Chat.